How old were Michael Jackson's children when he died? Imagine being a child. No school tomorrow. Summer stretching endlessly ahead of you. And then, your world collapses in a single phone call. On June 25, 2009, 3 children woke up with a father. By evening, they were the most famous orphans on the planet. But here's what nobody talks about: how devastatingly young they actually were. Because when died, his children weren't teenagers navigating identity. They weren't young adults who could process grief rationally. They were babies, practically. And that changes everything about their story. Let's put real numbers to this tragedy, because numbers don't lie, even when grief tries to soften them. Prince Michael Jackson, the eldest, the protector, was just 12 years old enough to understand death, young enough to be permanently broken by it. Paris Jackson, and the only daughter. Michael's self-described princess when was 11 years old. Here's something that'll stop you cold. Paris once revealed she attempted suicide at 15. Grief that begins at 11 doesn't disappear, it waits. And then Blanket. Who names a child Blanket? Michael Jackson, that's who. And honestly, respect. But behind that unforgettable nickname was a 7-year-old boy who lost his father before he could fully form memories of him. 7 years old. Now think about this urgently. These 3 children didn't just lose a father. They lost the only private world they'd ever known. Because raising children in secrecy, behind masks and aliases, was Michael's desperate attempt to give them normalcy. The moment he died, that normalcy died too. But here's what most documentaries completely skip over: what happened to them inside the Jackson family home in the weeks after his death. And trust me, it's not what you'd expect. Today, Prince is a 27-year-old entrepreneur and philanthropist, quietly building his own legacy. Paris is a model, activist, and musician, channeling decades of grief into raw, unapologetic art. And Blanket, now going by Bigi, remains intensely private, almost hauntingly so. Exactly like his father. 3 children. 3 completely different responses to the same wound. That's not coincidence. That's the complicated, beautiful human resilience of growing up in the shadow of the greatest entertainer who ever lived. Michael Jackson may have left the world on June 25, 2009, but his children? They carried him forward. The king of pop is gone, but his legacy? It's 27, 26, and 22 years old, and just getting started. Because here's what most people forget. These children knew. They weren't shielded from the chaos outside those walls. They felt the earthquake before anyone explained it to them. And this is where the story takes a turn that most documentaries skip right past. What happened to them immediately after? The answer is complicated, and honestly, a little heartbreaking. Michael had appointed his mother, Catherine Jackson, as the primary guardian in his will. And so at 79 years old, Catherine became the caretaker of a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a grieving 7-year-old boy. But wait, there's a legal battle that erupted behind the scenes that most people have never heard the full story of. We'll get to that. But first, why did Michael Jackson's own father barely feature in any of this? That question opens a door to a darker chapter of the Jackson family story, one that directly shaped how Prince, Paris, and Blanket experienced grief, and whether they were truly protected through it. Hold on, we're getting there. Fast forward to today. Prince Jackson, of the quiet, composed eldest, graduated from Loyola Marymount University and channeled his energy into philanthropy and production. He carries his father's discipline without his father's spotlight. Deliberate, purposeful. Paris Jackson chose a wildly different path. She stepped directly into the spotlight, modeling acting, music, and has spoken with rare honesty about her mental health struggles, her grief, and her identity. She has become in many ways the most publicly vocal of the 3. Her courage in speaking about painful truths is something even her harshest critics quietly respect. And then there is Bigi, formerly Blanket, now in his early 20s, and by far the most private of the 3. He rarely speaks publicly. He rarely appears publicly. Some say he is the most like his father in temperament. Deeply sensitive, deeply interior. 3 children. 3 responses to the same loss. All of them valid. All of them human. Here is the final thought we'll leave you with. Michael Jackson spent his entire career trying to hold on to childhood. The music, Neverland. The wonder, It was all connected to something he felt was taken from him too soon. And in the cruelest twist of fate, his own children had their childhood interrupted in exactly the same way. The ages, 12, 11, and 7, are just numbers, but the weight behind them? That's a story that's still being written. If this video moved you, share it with someone who grew up loving Michael Jackson's music. And if you want to go deeper into the lives of his children today, what they've said, what they've built, and what they've survived, our next video goes there completely. See you there.